Greetings, voters of Central North Dakota. This is Jay Ranke of North Dakota District 14 Reagan Republicans. Our goal is to communicate conservative ideas in a way that is hopeful, in a way that recognizes the proper use of government to accomplish conservative ideas. Before I share two items about the upcoming election, something I wanted to share with you was the fact that my wife and I, coming back from Seattle yesterday at the end of our Alaska cruise, flew through Denver en route to Minot. In Denver, the plane was delayed, and I stood next to a young man who was Russian but spoke very good English, a 20-year-old man. It turns out he's been training in the United States for 4 years in a ice skating dance competition, couples, training with a young lady the last 4 years, originally from Minot. Well, it turns out they've fallen in love and are on their way back to Minot to get married tomorrow. It's a great story. Now, he was flying with his family, none of whom who spoke English, but his father indicated he was something he was excited about and wanted me to know about. It turns out this young couple, she's from Minot originally, just won the World Championship youth junior division of this ice skating, dancing competition in Taipei, Taiwan. It's fantastic. And they're coming back to get married. It's just a wonderful story. There, I wanted to share that with you. Now, I wanted to share with you two items about the upcoming election. One is, I've seen some Facebook posts of late that are really not accurate about John Nelson's vote in the legislature. There was a Facebook post that said he didn't support teachers and he voted against a bill that would make it possible for teachers not to use gender-changed pronouns for their students. It is true that John voted against one transgender bill, and when I found out about that, I was furious and I let him know. I was like a fly on you-know-what. What I didn't understand was that there was a second bill working its way through the legislature, which was a better bill, and that is the bill that John did vote for. And it was passed into law and signed by the governor. So to say that John voted against the transgender bill and didn't support teachers so that they don't have to use changed pronouns for their students is not accurate. John voted for the bill that does exactly that. And he deserves credit for it, and I've given him credit for that. Now, a second item I want to visit with you about is the passing of budgets in North Dakota. North Dakota does not have an omnibus budget. That is one big budget that gets passed all at the same time. Every agency gets its own budget items. There's 45, 48, 49 budget items that get voted on. What's happened in recent years is people in the name of conservatism, in the name of republicanism, have been naysayers on every budget item. They vote no on every budget item. I would submit to you that's not legitimate practice. The fact is, the legislature is required to pass a budget before it leaves session. And so if you're going to vote no on everything, it just means you're not doing your job. If you want to see something changed, make the proposal. You may win the fight, you may not. But the fact is, conservatives understand that when you pass a budget line item, you don't get everything you want, and you live with some things you don't like. That's what conservatives understand. Now, there are some things you just can't back down on if you're a conservative. I get that, and I support that. But you have to live with some compromise. You don't get everything you want, and you have to live with some things you don't want. Conservatives understand that. Also, to vote no on everything is ultimately cowardly. Because what that does is it puts you in a posture of saying, oh, whatever happens, it's not my fault. I didn't vote for it, so it's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. A conservative is willing to take it in the chin and say, you know what? It's not a perfect budget, but it's my job to make sure the people of North Dakota have a budget that can function, that people have budgets in their agencies so that we can function as a state. And a true conservative is able to say, I'll live with the fact that it's not always perfect. That's my job as a legislator. The fact is, when North Dakota passes budgets, they are in the black. We do not spend in the red. We calculate what our revenue is going to be, and then we pass the budget. So it's not reckless spending. So the accusation that it's all pro-big business, or pro-big government is not accurate. It is an attempt, it is the job to pass a budget for the state. And the fact is, people, our legislators are doing it at the same time they're cutting income tax in the state. It's dropped by 75% in recent decades. It's just phenomenal how they're saving money for taxpayers and still functioning with a budget that makes North Dakota work. We've got some good things happening in Bismarck, people. It's not perfect, but it's good. And I have to tell you, I've come to genuinely respect Jerry and Robin and John in the jobs that they do. And I'm hoping that you will help me send them back to Bismarck. Thank you. In the name of what is hopeful, what is positive, in the name of Reagan Republicans, thank you. Goodbye and God bless.